I'm joined now by one of the co-authors of that op-ed, Governor John Kasich, back on the show. Governor, thank you for being here on what is obviously an incredibly busy morning focused almost entirely on immigration. You wrote this op-ed focusing on El Salvador even before the news of this comment related to S-hole countries came out. And again, we know that El Salvador is one of the nations that was mentioned in that Oval Office meeting. So I got to start and get your reaction to that comment from Donald Trump.
Well, it's not helpful. It's a terrible comment, and I mean, maybe the one good thing we can say is trying to say he didn't say it because he realizes it was a big mistake. And when you talk about Africa, for example, you know, this is a place that is ripe for both growth and problems. And I've been involved with Africa in helping the countries in Africa for a very long time. In fact, with Bono, we did debt relief because we think it's important. And if you don't have economic growth, you become ripe for terrorism. And we don't want to demean people. And Hallie, the bottom line is we're all made in the image of the Lord, and we don't want to say disparaging things. We all make mistakes, but there's no excuse. And when you do it, you have to apologize. Secondly, the piece that Jeb Bush Jr. and I wrote was not just Salvadorians who were invited here. George W. Bush said they ought to be able to stay. So did Barack Obama, so you had bipartisanship. But I also wrote it about DACA. These are these young kids that got brought to the United States, and they live on the edge, on a razor's edge with the fact that they could be shipped out, breaking up a family. Look, immigration needs to look forward. We need to protect our borders. That's a given. There's no argument about that. How we do it, well, that can be a discussion. But we need to look through the windshield, through the front, not use the rear view mirror to try to fix things that ultimately can divide families.
I get that, Governor, but do you believe that this president is looking forward through the windshield when, as Dick Durbin says, Dick Durbin has now confirmed that the president made a comment, S-hole comment, in the Oval Office talking about African countries? Is that looking forward?
Well, no, I think that what we need to do is we need to resolve this issue of DACA immediately. Republicans and Democrats working together, with the Democrats saying, of course we'll do border security. But, you know, look, the bottom line is let's look forward and not backward. And here's the interesting thing, Hallie. I guess there was a meeting a couple days ago where the president said, well, let's work this all out. And then there were members of Congress that said, oh, no, you can't. So left to his own judgment, do I think he might work something out? Yeah, but I'm not sure who he's talking to or listening to. So
are you confident there's going to be a deal to protect dreamers by March?
No, I'm not confident of anything in that crazy city right now. Look, everything has become partisan, political. We went through this on health care, and now we're going through it on DACA. Look, let me explain to our viewers who these folks are. These are young people who were brought to this country by their parents. They were so young, they probably didn't exactly know where they were going. They have lived in this country, and they ought to be made, at least, they ought to be legalized in this country, not shipped home. And we've been deporting them. The picture in the New York Times of our op-ed piece showed some armed folks in the federal government going to grab a young boy out of a house in Miami many, many years ago. The country was divided. That's not America, to have, you know, SWAT teams going in and grabbing somebody. And we're seeing some of that happen, people being deported right now who don't need to be deported. We're America. We're a home of immigrants.
You are very passionate, I know, on immigration. This is obviously going to be a major political discussion. It is right now today. It's going to be for the next year. And it's going to be as we look up to the midterms. And you have right now Republican Congressman Jim Renacci from your state who is asked about everything that has been happening this morning with the president. And I want you to listen to what he had to say.
I know it's difficult for the president because in many times you want to say what you're thinking. But in the end, I know a lot of times he's saying what people are thinking. So, look, I always say judge the president after 4 years. Let's judge the president after what we've done. Let's not judge the president on what he says.
Do you agree on that, given what we have heard from Dick Durbin? Is that the kind of perspective you want from someone representing Ohio?
Hallie, look, I'm not getting into the Senate race. I can say I'm just not getting anything I say about it becomes big news. I'm serving my last term.
Governor, respectfully, but it's your opinion.
I know
you
want to make. You know what? You want to make news. I don't want to make news on that. I want to make news on the fact that we want DACA. Well, I don't agree with him. I just told you I don't. I don't think you wait 4 years. I've been supportive of the president when I think he's been right, and I've been opposed to him when I think he hasn't been right, including on health care, and particularly in light of these comments. And my feeling is we need to get some immigration things done, border protection, all these other issues, visa lottery, everything else. Do it separately. Just make sure that the people who are DACA, these dreamers, and these folks who came here at the invitation of the United States get to stay, and don't divide their families, and move forward. Get it done.
What about the temporary protected status designation for example, people from Haiti, from Honduras, from El Salvador? You have the Department of Homeland Security. Well, listen, the Homeland Security officials say original conditions no longer exist for this program that was not intended to be permanent. So how do they get past that? Do they have a point?
Look, the bottom line is that there are the countries, for example, El Salvador says we can't take all these folks back. This is, again, looking in the rearview mirror. If we want to stabilize that program, I'm for it. But don't be trying to divide people who are fully integrated into the United States, who are law-abiding and constructive. No reason to grab them and ship them out. If George W. Bush thought they should stay and Barack Obama thought they should stay, you got Republican and a Democrat president saying that. No reason to pick on them at this point. Move forward. Straighten that program out. Make it clear. But don't be grabbing people and shipping them out. You're scaring their children. You're dividing families. That's not what America is. The Republicans are a, quote, pro-family, okay? Pro-family. Build strong families. Wherever they are, whoever they are, live up to that.
Governor, I have limited time before I have to let you go, and I have two quick questions for you. Number one, given the conversation that we are having on immigration and given the conversation about the president's comment on S-hole countries.
I have no idea what I'm doing in the future, Hallie. I'm sorry.
I didn't even ask about 2020.
That's what you were leaning towards.
No, I'm actually going to ask you about something else, which is the comments that Dick Durbin made today saying that the president's comments were racist. Michael Steele was just on that show, somebody that I know you know from his time at the RNC, who said he definitively believes that this president is racist. So I pose the question to you. Is Donald Trump racist?
I don't call names. I thought the president's comments were inappropriate. Charlottesville, I thought they're inappropriate here.
Were they racist, those comments?
I don't call names.
It's a category, not a name, respectfully, sir.
No,
I just am wondering if you think that they are.
Look, Hallie, I've said what I have to say. I'm not saying anymore. Appreciate you letting me come on.
I didn't ask about 2020, but since you brought up 2020, does any of this make you want to run? You brought it up.
Hallie, I have no idea what the future is going to bring. And, you know, I believe in that old proverb, you know, the Lord will fulfill the purpose of my life, and I want to help build the country. I want to be a